So you mean to tell me that I go on vacation for just 2 Sacramento Kings games, and not only do the Kings win those games, they look fantastic. And then the second I get back to Sacramento, they revert right back into the same old Kangs? Am I the problem? Well, at least Keegan Murray's back, and so am I right here on Locked On Kings.
You are Locked On Kings, your daily Sacramento Kings podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time for another episode of Locked On Kings.
Hello and welcome into Locked On Kings, your podcast hub for Sacramento Kings coverage all season long. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off of your first purchase. My name is Matt George. I have the privilege of being your host here. I'm a Sacramento sports anchor and reporter for ABC 10 News, and my bad, y'all. I guess it's me. The Kings were an absolute dumpster fire. I thought, hey, it ended up working out perfectly. I'm going to get away with the family for a little bit, go and spend a few days at Disneyland and walk until my legs and feet are trying to commit mutiny against the rest of my body, only to check my phone for score updates while I'm at the park, not watching the games, by the way. I was very intentional. I'm spending this time with my family. I'm getting away from the Kings. I'm not watching a second of Kings basketball while I am on this trip. But I'm sitting in lines forever. Might as well check the final scores. Oh, okay, the Kings beat the Denver Nuggets. Okay, well, hey, good win. You beat them once and 3 times. Great. They haven't won 2 games in a row. Oh, the Kings and Timberwolves went to overtime and the Kings won back-to-back beams. And of course, I'm leaning into the bit on social media. Yep, it's me. It's my fault, I guess. Whatever. Thinking, okay, they're taking on a Phoenix Suns team, and the Suns are playing well, but the Suns are an absolutely beatable team. They come back to Sacramento. Okay, come on. Like I'm not going to the game. I'm landing in the morning. I'm still spending the evening with my family, getting ready for Thanksgiving tomorrow. Like, surely the Kings can get this win so we can, like, hey, retire the bid. Matt's the problem. Okay, not really. Like, the Kings are playing good basketball now. Matt, glad you're back. You can enjoy. Nope. 41-16. That was the score at the end of the first quarter. Suns 41, Kings 16. A quarter where the Sacramento Kings had 0 assists. I come back, and the first taste of Sacramento Kings basketball when I come back is the Kings getting 0 assists and 7 turnovers in a first quarter where they were down 41-16. It was so bad that San Francisco Giants pitching ace and diehard Sacramento Kings fan Logan Webb was on social media calling for the fans to boo the team. That's how bad it was. My bad. It's me. Look, like, if any of you have paid to go to Disneyland recently, you know that the mouse takes you for everything you got. I can't afford to go back, but if y'all want to send me back, look, my family would happily go back to Disneyland. In fact, you know what? Get me even further away. Send me out to Walt Disney World. Send me to Orlando. Maybe the Magic will stink if I'm in Orlando for a little while. Just maybe it's the proximity of whatever basketball team is near me. They're just going to be bad. If you want to blame me, great. Forget Vivek Ranadive. Forget Doug Christie's rotations. Forget Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. Nope. It's Matt George's fault. You know what? I'm fine with it. You tell me the further I get from the Kings, the more likely they are to win a championship. I'll go to the other side of the world. I don't care. 17 turnovers for the Kings in this game, leading to 26 Suns points. And the craziest thing about this, like, the Kings lost that first quarter. They didn't lose. They got demolished in that first quarter. But they won quarters 2 through 4. So they won the rest of the game 84-71. Like, one quarter can bury you when it's that bad. Just a horrendous horrendous start. And of course, I'm getting cooked on social media the whole time. Like, my bad. I'm like on the Southwest app looking for flights out, seeing if there's any still available tonight. Oh, that was brutal. All right. Now that we've gotten kind of the jokes and the bit out of the way, Matt, it's your fault. And if you want to blame it, that's fine. Let's talk about like a real problem with the Sacramento Kings. When it matters, aka like fourth quarter time, when it's mattered, like the Kings are far too predictable. Now, I understand raising my hand saying this, what I'm about to talk about, because it's going to be very critical of DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. I understand that both of them played well while I was gone. I understand that DeMar DeRozan was one of the major reasons why the Sacramento Kings were able to win that game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And by the way, I saw that clip of DeRozan dunking and the entire bench coming and picking him up and giving him a hard time. Like, really cool moment, really awesome moment. I'm glad the Golden One Center was popping. That night looked fantastic. I wish I was there. I hope we can, like, one of the things we talked about earlier in the season when everything was bad is just like try and enjoy each game for what it is. And that's one of those games where it reminds me of when Vince Carter was a Sacramento King and the Kings beat LeBron James and the Cavaliers in Sacramento, and Vince Carter turned back the clock. I think he scored like 20 points or something like that. And it was just like the Kings were terrible that year, but the place was rocking. And that's the memory that I have from that season, is that game from Vince Carter beating LeBron James and the Cavaliers. So maybe that game against the Timberwolves with the Kings winning in overtime was that of the season for you. And if so, awesome. I wish I got to experience it. But, and again, I understand, I acknowledge that DeMar DeRozan was really good in that game. But far too many times we've seen the Kings, if they're in a game in the fourth quarter, they go to the same tired isolation basketball, right? Before we get to the fourth quarter, let's talk about the third quarter. Kings come out and outscore the Suns 28-16 in the third quarter. Like, the defense picks up, although the Suns were missing open shots, if we're being completely honest. But the defense picks up, and it's Keegan Murray, Malik Monk, and Keon Ellis that are leading the charge, right? The three of these guys, like, Keegan starts cooking. We'll talk about Keegan later on in the podcast because I'm so freaking happy with what I'm seeing from Keegan Murray. It might genuinely be best case scenario, what we're seeing from Keegan Murray right now. Realistic best case scenario. The three of those guys are the ones that are leading you back in. But Keegan plays every single second, all 12 minutes of the third quarter. So he has to take a breather to start the fourth. Like, we knew it was coming. And the Suns come out on a 7-0 run. It's not a coincidence that the Suns come out on a run with Keegan Murray on the bench. Now, to be fair, if we're being true with context, during that stretch, Malik Monk chucked a couple shots and missed a couple shots. Now, he was cooking in the third quarter, so I'm okay. Like, I'm down with going down with the ship with the guys that got you back afloat, right? So I'm okay with Malik Monk taking another couple looks because he was on a heater and bricking him. I understand that that's what led to the Suns going on that run. I get it, but I feel a lot better than that than I do with the isolation, quote unquote, closer ball that the Kings play far too much in the fourth quarter. Now, again, this is going to be very targeted or very directed at Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, and I don't intend it to be strictly at those two because we've talked about LaVine, like, you're paid to score the basketball. DeMar DeRozan, you're one of the best closers in NBA history. I understand that is, quote unquote, their time, right? But everybody else in the league understands it's their time too. And the problem is, it's not that you're generating looks through the flow of your offense for those guys. You're just giving them the basketball, and 3 or 4 guys are standing around on the perimeter watching while 1 or 2 guys go to work. And it does not work. The Kings are down 96-86 with 7 minutes, 21 seconds to go. Keegan Murray's back in the game at this time, but so are Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. These are back-to-back offensive possessions. DeMar dribbles the air out of the basketball, gets LaVine to come over to drag and force a switch. Then DeMar attacks, goes to a mid-range jumper, bricks it. Suns go down, score. Then Zach LaVine, he starts to work in isolation. The very next possession, Zach LaVine working in isolation, tries to attack the basket, turns the ball over, Suns to go down and extend their lead. Just go down with the guys who got you there. Keegan Murray ended up taking the most shots in the fourth quarter. Keegan Murray also ended up taking the most shots in the game. That's great. And on paper, it looks like, yeah, the Kings did go down with the guys that got them there. Keegan shot the most times in the fourth quarter, Matt. What do you want? Keegan was barely touching the basketball through the time where this game essentially ended. When the Suns extended that lead and the Kings were struggling to score, once again, the Kings barely sniff 100 points. The offense is a big problem again. Barely sniff 100 points. Keegan Murray, one of your hottest hands, barely touching the basketball down the stretch. That stuff needs to change. It needs to be fixed. But let's talk about Keegan Murray, man. I'm so excited to talk about Keegan. I'll talk about Precious Achiuwa and Keon Ellis as well. Both of those guys had really impressive games. That's all still coming here on Locked On Kings. Like I said at the top of the show, this episode of Locked On Kings is brought to you by Game Time. Basketball season is in full effect, and nothing beats being in the arena for these games. But let's be real, getting tickets can be a total headache between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout. It's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in. It's the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. I love using Game Time when I'm buying tickets for my family members to come to games. I direct all of my family members, all my friends to use Game Time to go, whether they're buying tickets for a Sacramento Kings game, a local theatrical production, a major stadium concert, whatever it is. Game Times are the best because first off, what you see is what you pay. Like when you select your seats and you see the price, that's the price. You're not getting surprise fees and everything lumped in at the end for you. Plus, the seat views cannot be beat, especially if you're going to a venue you've never been to before. You'll know exactly what your view is going to be like. They have deals that are incredible, like their zone deals. You pick the section, Game Time picks your seats, you save big. They have killer last-minute deals. The closer you get to the event, the more money you will save. Take the guesswork out of buying your tickets, especially NBA tickets, with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. I am not kidding when I'm telling you I am seeing exactly what I wanted and needed to see from Keegan Murray. Now, I said before going on vacation that I didn't expect Keegan Murray to come and save the Sacramento Kings, return from his injury and save this Kings team, especially when as soon as he returned, Domantas Sabonis went down with his knee injury that's going to keep him out for the next month. But I was hopeful that we would still see noticeable change. And I was also hopeful that we would see an aggressive side of Keegan Murray, him take the opportunity on a bad basketball team, but after signing a contract extension, take the opportunity to make this team his, to show that he does, it may be his last chance to show that he does have the capability of being more than just a 3-and-D, space the floor and shoot threes and take on the toughest defensive assignment role player. Like a high-end role player, don't get me wrong. And those players are extremely valuable, extremely coveted around the NBA. There's a reason why every single year, every trade deadline, all we hear about is teams calling and inquiring about Keegan Murray. They love players like that. The NBA cherishes players like that. And the Kings only have one of them. They can't find any more. They can't even find like lower end Keegan Murray light players to bring to Sacramento. Even those players are extremely valuable around the league. But I wanted to see Keegan be more, do more, and he has in these games. Tonight, 19 points after a very impressive career game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. 19 points tonight, 7 of 16 from the field. His 16 field goal attempts leads the team. Yes, I need Keegan Murray minimum top 3, ideally top 2, and a lot of the times number 1 on this team in field goal attempts, whether Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan and Russell Westbrook are on this roster or not. I do not care. This is a now 5-14 basketball team. I do not care about the veterans. I don't care. I don't care about their contracts. I don't care about what they've done. I appreciate them. I respect the hell out of them. I do not care. DeMar DeRozan said it best after the Minnesota Timberwolves game. This is Keegan Murray's team as of right now. Now, we can argue or we can have the conversation about if it's Keegan Murray's team in the long run, like how good of a basketball team are you going to be? That's a totally fair conversation. But for right now, with this Kings team's future as limited as it is, let Keegan Murray shoot the basketball more than anybody else on the team. Let him attack anything that he likes, put it up. I don't care if you miss, keep shooting. That is what I want to see from Keegan Murray, and we're seeing that attack mindset from Keegan in these games since coming back, and you absolutely love to see it. But in addition to that, again, we talk about how coveted Keegan Murray's players are. Like, the Kings do not have any depth at Keegan's position. I don't think it's even a conversation or an argument at this point. And I said this when Keegan Murray went down and had his surgery before the season started. The Kings lost the most irreplaceable player on their roster. The Kings lost the guy that they could least afford to lose. And I think that's completely apparent and obvious by how this team has looked and how they looked when he was gone and how this team has looked since he's come back. Now, to be fair, they're 2-2 since he's returned, but 500 is a whole heck of a lot better than whatever the heck the Kings were before coming back. And I know Keegan Murray's first game was that absolute diabolical performance to end that road trip. So, like, the length and athleticism from Keegan Murray, the basketball IQ that keeps getting better, whether it's defensively, offensively, putting himself in the right spots. He just seems all over the floor. 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 8 rebounds, 0 turnovers. Keegan is trying things. He's attacking, and he's not turning the basketball over. That is such a positive sign from Keegan in this game. Sign me up right now. Where do I sign for Keegan Murray to captain a lineup that features Keon Ellis, Precious Achiuwa, and Neat Clifford and somebody else for the majority of the remainder of the season? Like, sign me up right now. Does that team probably lose a lot? Yes. But if Keegan Murray's captaining it, he's this aggressive, he's learning on the fly. He's showing those flashes of being able to be more than what some people believe he is. And the Kings are also losing basketball games. Like, low key, we're talking best case scenario. Genuinely, we're talking best case scenario for Keegan Murray in that sense. Now, of course, if the Kings were winning basketball games, because specifically of Keegan went off in the fourth quarter, or Keegan had 30 points, or Keegan hit a game winner. Like, yes, we take those wins regardless of what it does to the Kings draft lottery odds. Like, we take that 100%, because even if there's a top 3 pick out there that you would love to be the future star of the Sacramento Kings, right? Keegan Murray's on the team now. You just gave him a contract extension. If he shows the ability to impact winning right now, that's only a good thing for the Sacramento Kings. It truly is. But if Keegan can play like this consistently, and most specifically, get this opportunity to be the guy and lead the team in shots and experiment and look good and impact both sides of the floor. If he can be that guy for the majority of this season, while the Sacramento Kings lose basketball games and secure a potential top pick to bring in to pair with Keegan, and now you've got Keegan and top 3, top 5 pick to lead you into the future. Now we're starting to cook. Now we're cooking with fire a little bit, right? That's the best case scenario for the Sacramento Kings. Sign me up. Sign me up right now for Keegan Murray captaining a young, hardworking, aggressive lineup that, again, features guys like Neat Clifford, of course, Keon Ellis, and Precious Achiuwa. And those last 2, Keon and Precious, I want to talk about them some more because I've been really impressed with them. Keon, after barely playing the last couple of games, stepped in, got a lot of playing time tonight, and showed why he deserves it. We'll talk about it all still on Locked On Kings. This episode of Locked On Kings is also brought to you by Drip Drop. When I'm hydrated, everything just works better. My focus, my energy, my mood, even my skin. That's why I've been using Drip Drop. It's doctor-developed hydration that keeps me running at full power no matter what my day looks like. I told you that I just got back from Disneyland and my body was in beyond in pain from the amount of walking and just the typical Disney experience. Well, Drip Drop had my back at the hotel. Let me tell you, I had Drip Drop, and I even brought a Drip Drop with me to Disneyland because it's not your average sports drink. It delivers 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of leading brands using a science-backed formula trusted by medical professionals, firefighters, and over 90% of top college and pro teams. Hydration has become a non-negotiable for me, and it needs to be for you. Drip Drop helps you feel sharper, calmer, and honestly, just better overall. It's truly something you have to feel and experience to fully understand. So right now, Drip Drop is offering potential listeners 20% off of your first order. Go to dripdrop.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNBA. That's dripdrop.com, promo code LOCKEDONNBA for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat hits hard and keep your body and mind performing at their best with Drip Drop. I want to talk about Precious Achiuwa really quick. I know most of the time that Precious has been here in Sacramento, which hasn't been very long, the Kings have not won a lot. And Precious has had to step into important minutes for the Kings and a starting role with the Kings, with Keegan Murray being out. And while there were a lot of games where he didn't make a massive difference in terms of like the wins or losses or the results of the game, I like the way Precious plays. I mean, he just plays hard. He's impactful. I just feel his presence on the floor. I can see the impact that he has on the game. Again, going back and watching clips from that win over the Minnesota Timberwolves and Precious with that big backcourt steal leading to a bucket. You can see him firing up the Kings crowd, right? And then in tonight's game, 14 points, 6 of 7 from the field, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. Precious just being an impactful player. I like that he knocked down that 3 that he took. It wasn't a corner 3. It was a wing 3. He took it without hesitation, nothing but net. Great to see, and hopefully that shot can continue to fall for him to help with that offensive spacing. But he's aggressive. Now, he's not necessarily a center, and the Sacramento Kings once again got absolutely torched on the interior in this game. They gave up 52 points in the paint, and Mark Williams absolutely dominated Sacramento inside with 21 points, 9 of 12 from the field, 17 rebounds. I mean, he was a beast. The Kings, it's crazy how we were talking all summer. Oh, the Kings have no point guard. The Kings need a point guard. Well, they went out and addressed the point guard position, kind of, at least short term. And even with Domantas Sabonis healthy, they clearly have a very obvious issue at the center position defensively. They always have. Now Domantas Sabonis is gone, and that center position is just a gaping wasteland. Sorry, Drew Eubanks, you're doing your best, and Precious Achiuwa is doing his best, and Maxime Reynaud is doing his best, but it just isn't good. And teams are eating the Kings alive. Opposing centers are coming into Sacramento or playing a game against the Kings knowing, hey, I'm getting a career night. But Precious Achiuwa, when he's out there, man, I notice him. I see him fight. I see him hustle. I see him bring the energy. And I like what I'm seeing. That's why I want Precious Achiuwa to be part of that lineup that Keegan Murray is kind of captaining in the latter part of this season as the Kings go forward. Keon Ellis. Talked to him blue in the face about Keon and his playing time and how the Kings are treating him or not treating him and doing right by him or wrong by him or whatever. A lot of people were talking. I saw the stuff on social media. I didn't listen to any of the conversations because, again, I was on vacation, but saw the conversations on like Sacramento Sports Talk Radio and stuff like, are the Kings and Keon Ellis heading for a breakup, heading for a divorce? And God, it sure seemed that way. But Keon got the opportunity to play tonight. And I shouldn't even say got the opportunity like it was a gift to him. He earned the opportunity. He's already earned the opportunity, but he got, like, Doug put him in, and he was so good that Doug was like, yeah, I can't not keep putting him in, especially when he's out playing $40+ million players who are playing in front of him. He only had 6 points, 2 of 5 from the field, 2 of 4 from three-point range, 3 steals, 2 blocks, played 23 minutes, rounded up. It's like 22 minutes and 50-something seconds. Like the defensive impacts, whether he's guarding Devin Booker or whatever, it's just undeniable, right? He had a corner three in the third quarter, I think, when the Kings were making their third quarter push. He hits a corner three. He then sprints the full length of the floor and blocks a shot at the rim when the Suns were trying to score quickly in transition. Like, dude's incredible. Malik Monk also had a big moment like that too. I think he blocked a shot and then went back and hit a three on the other end in transition. Like, love those hustle plays. Love those hustle plays from those energy guys. You need that. And I'm starting to, I kind of talked about this a little bit when I did the podcast, when I was laying out the Kings plan, or from what I understand the Kings plan to be. And by the way, I saw that, I guess Sam Amick did an interview with Scott Perry, and Scott had comments in there about like not wanting to use the rebuilding label and basically confirming everything that I told you in about the approach to this season in that the podcast. Not tooting my own horn. I'm just saying, like, some people still don't believe that I know what I'm talking about and that I'm plugged in and I understand what's going on. I do. I'm telling you, I understand what's going on. I'm having conversations with people inside and outside of the building about the state of this organization all the time. So hopefully that has value to you. But yeah, I'm going to kind of pat myself on the back there because we're on it here on Locked On Kings. Also, like, NBA Central retweeted or aggregated a report from somebody, I don't know who it was, that reported that Domantas Sabonis is unhappy with his role. Told you about that a week ago. Okay? Matt, get off your ego trip. Sorry, I know. But like, I'm telling you, what I'm telling you is real. It's factual. And I have it before a lot of other people do. So just understand, you're not just hearing me like speak out of you know where. Okay. Anyway, Keon Ellis, the ideal kind of dream scenario I have for Keon Ellis is that the Kings will get to and through the trade deadline and hopefully trade away a piece or two that maybe is in his way on the depth chart. Maybe it's Malik Monk, maybe it's DeMar DeRozan, maybe it's both of them. Not that I want the Kings to trade Malik Monk necessarily, but I think that's where we're headed. And I think at that point, or I'm hoping at that point, then the Kings can enter into contract negotiations or contract talks with Keon and go, hey, now we have a very visible, obvious path of extended playing time for you, plus this payday that we're willing to give you, this increase that you're owed, you should have already had. And now you can kind of see how you're more of a actual physical playing time wise part of this Kings team going forward. Now, I do understand it might still be too little too late with Keon. And I don't think that's the case, but I don't know for certain. I don't talk to the guy. So I don't have that kind of off the record relationship with Keon for him to have those conversations with me necessarily. I think he'd be open-minded to staying in Sacramento. Of course, I know he loves the city, he loves the fans, and the money would talk. But I don't know, maybe with how he's been treated through the start of the season so far, and if that continues all the way until the trade deadline, maybe that'll just be enough for him to go, man, I'm out of here. I ain't dealing with this. I don't care. I'm going to test I'm going to bet on myself and test my value on the open market. See you, Kings. But I'm hoping that at the trade deadline, a spot will kind of free itself up and playing time will free itself up naturally for Keon to where the Kings can go to him and go, here you go. This is what we have for you. And that'll hopefully convince him to stick around. But I don't know. That's my ideal scenario for Keon Ellis. Hey, I wanted to say before we wrap up, first off, have a very happy Thanksgiving. I hope you spend your day with your loved ones, your family and friends, and you're going to town on whatever your Thanksgiving meal is, turkey, ham, pizza. I don't know. I'm in charge of the turkey for the second year in a row. Last year, y'all, it was my first time like having the family over, especially the in-laws over to the house, and I was in charge of the turkey. Yo, the turkey came out amazing. It was a bomb turkey, but it was like, I think it ended up being almost like 3 hours late. Like low key, it was. We said we were gonna eat at like 3:00, and I think we ate at like 6. Yeah, so I have to redeem myself this year. So hopefully I can actually. I have to end this podcast and go start working on that now. But I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. thank you. In so many ways, it was difficult for me to step away, not just because the Kings were winning, but I take this job very, very seriously and want to make sure that I'm delivering that content and I'm consistent with it. That's one of the reasons why Locked On Kings has gotten to where it's at. And I hope that you as an audience trust me with this show, because I try and be consistent and constantly there with Kings content. So stepping away for 4 or 5 days was difficult, but I'm very grateful for all of you who sent messages. Hey, Matt, go on vacation. Enjoy your time with your family. We'll see you when you get back. Appreciate you all so much. I'm happy to be back. I won't have a podcast tomorrow because it's obviously Thanksgiving, but I will be back Black Friday and beyond with normal Locked On Kings coverage for the remainder of the season and beyond. So I appreciate your support so much. Can't wait to have you join me on that next episode of Locked On Kings. Until then, my name is Matt George. You've been listening to the Locked On Kings podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.